So XXL is trash, but here is how they can fix it. So I just got a couple things that I think maybe they can do to make XXL better. Cause I enjoy watching XXL. I tune into the list every year, but most times I feel like I'm either disappointed. Maybe I take one artist. Sometimes I completely ignore the freestyles and the ciphers because it's like, what's the point? Unless I want to laugh. And last year that was Ian and some other artists who did things that just didn't make sense. So some people would say XXL hasn't been good since 2016, and that's partially true. XXL was not good in 2016 either. Like if we're being honest, XXL has been on like a hot streak of like not being good, and people romanticize 2016 class in their head just because you know for a lot of people it was there's a lot of their favorite artists on that class, and at the time when people were reacting and talking about the 2016 class, it wasn't majority positive. People were making fun of making fun of them, and well, also talking about their energy. They had a lot of energy, obviously, and obviously Kodak saying, "Who picked this little sorry ass beat?" But we were 2016 was really romanticized, and it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible either. I think it was better than a lot of the classes that came after it. But yeah, some people would tell you it hasn't been good since 2016. When 2016 itself wasn't that great when it comes to like actual hip hop and rap and stuff. And they had the energy, they had the clips, the charisma, and all that. So first things first, I need XXL to change the content that they put out. I'm fucking tired of seeing ABC's mean comments, and I don't know what else they do if they do anything else. I'm t- I'm I'm tired of seeing that. We don't need to see that anymore. I'm tired of every time they get to A S, and then when we get to M money, like every year. I don't even watch them anymore, but I can assume what's being said for most letters, and they still continue to do it. I just don't understand. And I don't know if they did mean comments to last year, I guess in 2025, but I don't care for that either. I'm not gonna lie, I just don't care. So they need to change up the content, do something different, like literally anything. I feel like every time I watch like the more I guess like personal content where they're talking, I literally learn nothing about them. I literally learn nothing about who they are as an artist or anything like that. And it doesn't have to be something extra personal. It could be something funny, something something creative, you know, because like for example, like Hot Ones, the interview show where they eat wings and whatever. They could do something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but literally anything else to give us more content, to give us more new content. It's like they do the same shit every year, and it's like, what am I gonna watch that for? And even if XXL cares, which I think they probably don't, they're still gonna do the same thing that they normally do, and I'm just not gonna watch it. I don't know who actually enjoys ABCs, and reading the mean comments is funny. I guess it's like it got old. Jimmy Kimmel did it like 15 years ago or whatever, and XL started doing it, and like it's whatever. It's just whatever at this point. But if that's the first thing they need to do, and it's literally so easy. Let's come up with anything creative, so we can get to know the artists or see them in a different light than other than their music. The freestyles in the ciphers. It's a little bit difficult to do anything with those because they're kind of like staples, and I feel like people would complain if they're not in the content that comes with XXL. But me personally, I think that the cipher should stay, and maybe the freestyles could be something different. Maybe are optional or something like that. Like you could choose between something you wanted to do. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, what if XXL does like, you know, artists come on and they do XXL songs, quote unquote. They do XXL music videos. So they release a song under XXL that, you know, they can promote under XXL, work with XXL to have something like that. I don't know. I just don't. The freestyles, because like some people don't sound good freestyling, they sound better under beats, and their music is like they're kind of like their identity. And for example, like Slayer, I've been listening to Slayer. I enjoy his music for the most part, and I think if I were to hear him freestyle, I may not like it, and that would not do justice for what you get from his music and how he raps and how he produces his music and he puts it all together. So, and even like someone I don't really personally like, Nine Vicious, if I heard Nine Vicious freestyle, I'm probably not gonna like it. And I think his music is kind of like his identity, you know, the way he performs on a song, him and Slayer, the way they perform on the songs is very important. So I don't know. Maybe XXL can do like XXL music videos, XXL songs. I don't know. And then for the cipher, I have issues with with the beats that are chosen most of the time. Like most of the times, the beats sound like they were picked that day. And most times they don't sound good. And then you're bringing artists from different regions, different styles of hip hop, and then you're having them rap on the same beat. And we've come a long way from like what hip hop used to be to what hip hop is now. Which lyrical, being able to have hard bars and punchlines isn't as important in mainstream hip hop. And then on top of that, you're getting rappers where being, lyrical, having a good pen isn't as important in the mainstream in today's era. And then you're getting them to rap on beats that they wouldn't normally rap on, which is, it's gonna make them sound worse. It's gonna make them not look good. And I don't know. Maybe they should have multiple beats in the cipher. Maybe I know people aren't gonna like that. They're gonna complain about that. That you're not supposed to switch beats in the cipher and blah blah blah. But I feel like I just want to watch good like hip hop content, and we're not getting that with XXL. It's a lot of like trolling. It's a lot of like not good rapping basically, and maybe if there was a beat that the artist liked, maybe they'd rap better. Because like last year, the ciphers, it seemed like a lot of rappers were just not interested in rapping on the beat that was chosen. I think it was I forgot who it was, but one of the ciphers, it was like half the group was uninterested in rapping on the beat, like they didn't care or like the beat. So it's like I don't know. That's just something to think about. So XXL needs like better rules and criterias for the cover. So as far as like rules, they need to not let people cut off the beat anymore. Stop doing that stupid shit. I do not want to hear anyone cut off the beat anymore. Stop cutting off the beat. You don't need to cut off the beat. If you don't want to rap on the beat, just don't rap. Like I think that's my biggest pet peeve about XXL is why the fuck are you cutting off the beat? That's the whole point of the cipher, to rap on the beat. And I get it, I guess. You want to go a cappella and make it more focused on you and what you're saying. But I don't give a fuck. Rap on the beat or don't rap on the beat. And they need to for the freestyles, they need to tell people to not sing. if they're not singers. Cause I if you come on XXL, 99% of the time you should be coming to rap. And when Nino Pade came onto that freestyle and did what the fuck he did, I was so disappointed because I actually really enjoy Nino Pade's music. I found out about Nino Pade from the XXL. You know, every time I see the cover, I'm like, oh, who is this? Let me go listen to their music because I never heard of them before. And I'm like, oh, he has, you know, a little more depth to him than you know, artists. You know, he talks about his personal life, his film, and all that shit. And you know, he's a decent rapper. So I'm like, I want to see what he's gonna do. And this nigga comes on here and sings, and some of the worst writing I've ever heard in my life, and that shit just I couldn't describe the words to how stupid that shit was, and so like I think they need to be more strict, and if people don't want to follow the rules, don't let them on the cover. Just get someone else. I don't know. Cause like it's some of the stupid moments on XXL throughout the years is allowing artists to do whatever they want or cut off the beat, go in there and sing, do fucking 10-second freestyles, 20-second freestyles, 30-second freestyles or whatever. You know their ciphers are really short, and it's like why did you even come here? So yeah, no more of that. No more of these. Like set these rules, let people know what they can and can't do, and be more strict. And then for like the artists that they do pick, it needs to be artists who have at least one studio album. I don't want to see like someone like Jello on the cover again. I don't. I don't want to see that again. And you know, what did he have, like 2 or 3 songs? It's like what was the point of putting him on the cover? Like he doesn't have an album. He's released like 2 songs. And you know, there's people who have 1, 2, 3, 4 albums out and they're not even being looked at for the cover. It needs to be like, and I know XXL goes with what is like popular right now, and it just so happened that Jello just kind of released his music and was hot for like at the perfect time, essentially. And you know, I understand the pick, but also it's like XXL should take the authority to pick someone else who actually, you know, has more material under their belt instead of picking, you know, what's popular. And also I think that's how TikTok contributes to like the quality of the XXL cover, because if you look at what was it 2024, I think every artist on there had a TikTok song that was popular, like a song that was on one of their songs that was on TikTok that was really popular. Probably like majority of them, probably not all. And it's like when you're picking artists that way, it's just you're not gonna get quality artists. It's just like the reality of the situation. And like someone like what was it, Lay Banks. I think I've only ever heard her music in clips in TikTok format. Like, and you know, maybe some people do like her music. I don't, but like that's just an example of like, you know, TikTok has really like. If you told me XXL went onto TikTok to look for hip hop artists for their cover, I'd believe you. And I think they just need to pick more artists who have better pens. And there's a lot of artists that they could have picked throughout the years. Some who have fallen off, some who are still doing well, and like they have a lot of options this year. You know, they could pick Red Veil, they could pick Mavi. They should have picked Kenny Mason years ago. They could have picked McKinley Dixon years ago, and who knows if they'll accept it. Just to name a few, there's probably even more artists that they can, you know, pick to be on XXL cover. and then they need to do like a split or something, like picking artists who take the time to sit down, and, artists who have better pen. Maybe do a 50-50. Five. How many people on XL? Like 10 or 11 or whatever. Do 5 and 5 or whatever. And, five of artists who are quote unquote rappers or whatever, who take their pen serious or whatever. But whatever the case may be, stop picking what you're picking. Like, I want to see people who are like able to freestyle and able to rap in the ciphers, and whoever they pick, and they don't have to be like it. I'm not saying like watching people who aren't like more conscious lyrical rappers isn't fun. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they need to like do more of a 50-50 split, and it's possible. They just choose not to do it because they choose what is like popular, and some of the picks I don't even understand, like YTB Fat. Like, I never want to see that man in my life ever again. I don't want to see him rap. I don't want to hear another one of his songs. Um, he was the absolute worst for me in the XXL 2025 freshman class. I don't want to see him ever again. And I don't know who's listening to his music, but good luck to you. And now that I'm done hating on YTB Fat, I'm not saying all this to hate on XXL. I want XXL to do better. I want to see them improve. But when they're doing the same thing every year, it's kind of like, what's the point? Like, half the content I don't even engage with. I kind of watch the freestyles that I want to watch, and maybe I'll watch the ciphers that I'll skip to the literally the parts that I want to watch. Like, it's just like it's like trimming around the fat when with XXL. It's like trying to get to what you really want to watch, and skipping everything else. And obviously they don't have to like do all these changes all at once. That would be very unrealistic. But at least like get rid of the ABCs. At the very least, get rid of the ABCs. I don't know why that's like, I don't understand why we keep doing ABCs. I don't get it. But I talked about that already, how much I hate that. And one last thing. If niggas go to jail, please replace them. Like, I get it. Like, EBK Jable went to jail at a at a bad time, and you couldn't get him to be on the cover or whatever and participate in the cipher and the freestyles and stuff. But I feel like if you're able to at least to have like a emergency replacement or emergency backup or something, like think ahead XXL, and I just don't. It's just like, what was the point of having EBKJ able to do a freestyle over the phone on the jail? It's like, was it for the shock factor? I don't know, but yeah, XXL, do better. We want to see better content, and we want to see you guys improve. Lastly, hit the like, subscribe, give me your opinions on how XXL should improve. Do you like XXL as they currently are? Do you want XXL to do something different? What can they do to improve? Let me know in the comments.